Let me ask you, if something happened right now and your phone wasn't working, could you still communicate with your family? Now, most families rely on their smartphones, and in normal circumstances, that's completely fine. But during real life emergencies and everyday inconveniences, things like power outages, storms, network failures, or just being separated, phones can fail. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 simple and realistic communications options that families can layer into their emergency plan without going full doomsday mode or just getting too technical. By the end of this video, you'll know why communication planning matters, what tools actually make sense for families like yours and mine, when to use each of these options, and how to build communication into family emergency plans the smart, practical way. Now, if you are just joining the MuthaPrepper channel, welcome. My name is Des, and here we talk about all things practical preparedness. Less of the gloom and doom and more of the equip and empower. Let's jump right in. Communications isn't about doomsday scenarios. It's a path to reducing stress and confusion when plans don't go perfectly. Now, if you're looking for a real-world example, this month alone, January 2026, one of the largest wireless carriers in the United States experienced a major nationwide cellular outage that lasted over 10 hours, leaving hundreds of thousands of people without voice, text, or data coverage on their phones. Now, this is a perfect example of how modern communication, something we all kind of take for granted, can suddenly fail without a major disaster like a hurricane or an earthquake. Think of it this way. Your primary is going to be your phone, what you use every day, what's integrated into your life already. You're going to want backup options, off-grid options that don't necessarily rely on cell phone towers. You're also going to want a fallback plan or tools. Passive tools like emergency radios, which we'll get into. You don't need one perfect tool. What you need is layers. Layers. Layers, layers. You guessed it, option 1 is gonna be your cell phone. Why? Because it's a part of your everyday life already. Now, here are some basics that you wanna cover when considering your cell phone as your first layer of communications. 1, make sure that you have emergency contacts saved offline. Location sharing should be turned on. This is gonna be a family choice and discretion, but that is one of the easiest ways to pinpoint where your family members are or where they last were without actually having to make contact. Have a designated out-of-area contact. This is helpful too if you're looking to establish different areas where you can meet up that is a little bit more outside of town. Trust me when I say portable batteries are a lifesaver. You want to make sure that you always have options. You can have a couple different kinds. I like the ones that have their own dongles and cords so that I don't have to go fishing for a cord when I need my backup battery to work. Stay charged, please. Also, consider communication apps that you can use on Wi-Fi. Even if you don't have data or voice coverage, these apps can help make sure that you stay in contact. Your second layer is going to be your handheld walkie-talkies or radios. There are handheld options and there are also radios that you can install in your vehicle. These are some of the most underrated tools for families, and let me tell you why this is a practical route. First of all, no cell phone towers are required, and a lot of them come with push-to-talk simplicity. It is instant communication and is a really great option for kids, families, grandparents, neighbors. Most people can pick this up and know how to use it right away. There are so many use cases for handheld radios like walkie-talkies, everything from power outages, neighborhood coordination, kids playing outside, evacuations, shelter in place. My favorites are camping and road trips or just general traveling a further distance that I usually am from home. Now, there are some things I want you to look for if you are going to be adding a handheld or walkie-talkie device into your plan. You're going to want to know what the clear range is, and that's going to depend on your environment. These are things you're going to want to test. I'll get back to that. You'll also want to look for a long battery life. Kudos if you have rechargeable options or if you're just bringing extra batteries. That is something you want to layer into your plan. And of course, you want an easy, simple to use design, especially if this is going to be kind of the first layer of communications that you're adding to your plan if you don't have anything already. Layer number 3 are going to be your emergency and weather radios. There are a ton of different options and models on the market. Choose the one that makes sense for you. I like these ones from Midland. Now, emergency radios are going to be durable. They're going to give you things like weather alerts, emergency broadcasts, evacuation instructions, very important, and give you updates when both the phone and internet are just down. If you're wondering why the heck this is even important, it's because during emergencies, information changes so fast. Having a radio means you're not relying on rumor, hearsay, or you're not guessing. Here are some things you should be looking for in your emergency radio: weather alert capability, hand crank or solar options, just like this one here, backup battery options, and multiple ways to charge this device, as well as just, again, simple controls. You don't want to have to be going through so many technical pieces and features when you have an emergency. You're going to want a simple way to stay in the know. This tool keeps your family informed even when everything else goes quiet. Now, this fourth option might sound a little extreme for some, but depending on your scenario and your needs, makes total sense. Again, we are thinking of layers here. Fourth option is satellite communications. Now, I really love this device. This is from Garmin. This is the InReach, and I chose to go with a satellite communication device that was separate from my phone. Hear me out. I want to be able to know that if my phone is completely broken, busted, can't even turn on, I want to be able to have a standalone device that can still get messages out and receive. Now, I bring this up as a personal preference because there are satellite communications devices that are meant to pair with your phone, acting as like a personal hotspot powered via satellite. I wanted to be able to know that if my phone is cracked, busted, won't even turn on, that I still have a standalone device that will allow me to communicate, especially during emergencies. As families expand their communications options, satellite communication devices are one of the strongest backup layers that you can add. Satellite devices, they don't rely on towers, they don't rely on any of the local infrastructure. They connect directly to satellites overhead, which means that they can still work during large outages, natural disasters, or in areas where there is little to no service. This layer doesn't automatically mean satellite phone. There are more lightweight options like this Garmin InReach. These little guys will allow you to send and receive text messages via satellite, trigger an SOS emergency signal anywhere, share your location with emergency contacts, and even communicate when phones say no service. Aside from nationwide outages, I really like having this as an option when we go camping or when we are in areas where there is expected no service at all for miles. Now, aside from the gear, and there are many, many options, there are ways to be better prepared even without everything I just mentioned. Sometimes communication is more about the planning, not the devices, and here's how. Make sure that you have written emergency contacts lists. Make a copy for all of your family members. Establish physical meetup locations, not just something that you're talking about, but something that you have taken your family to go visit and say, this is where we are going to meet if something happens. Paper maps are another great way to stay in communication, making sure everybody has a copy. Bonus points if you have the addresses and key locations also included. A shared family emergency plan is going to be your biggest key factor here. Make sure that you are having many conversations about emergency readiness and what the plan would be if something happens. These are easy, free, low-tech ways to make sure that your family is better prepared without even buying a thing. Here are some easy ways to build communication into your family's emergency plan. Assign roles. Who's going to carry the radios? Who's going to contact the out-of-area person? Who is going to monitor the emergency alerts? Define your scenarios. This isn't going to be the same for everybody, so make it unique to your area and your circumstances. But is it going to be things like power outages, bad weather, camping, traveling, network outages like Verizon, separation in a crowd? Make sure that you can account for these very normal situations. Biggest game changer, practice. Quick radio tests once a month. Many of the what-if conversations at dinner. Include your kids in the age-appropriate ways. Preparedness works best when it feels normal, not scary. Listen, communication is one of those preparedness areas that families don't really realize they need until it stops working. Start small. One tool, one conversation, one simple plan. If you found this helpful, like this video and subscribe for more just like this one. Make sure that you join the newsletter so you don't miss a beat. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these and how they might have helped you and your emergency plan. Lastly, if you are like me and you live in an urban or suburban environment and you want to be better prepared, check out this video I made on city survival. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.